the light of love, our victory is won. It's not what, but who we are, and that we have begun to celebrate. Come celebrate, come celebrate our spirit. The sound of hearts that beat with pride. Now let the whole world hear it. Our special gift comes from our heart. With courage we begin, as we learn to walk with pride. Everybody wins. Come celebrate, come celebrate, come celebrate our spirit. The sound of hearts that beat with pride. Now let the whole world hear it. Come celebrate, come celebrate, come celebrate our spirit. The sound of hearts that beat with pride. Now let the whole world hear it. Come celebrate. Yeah. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for kicking us off, Rev SuZ.
Hey, you got it.
All right, so what am I doing? We got a whole new situation set up. First of all, you all know me in the room, but maybe you don't know me online. My name is Reverend Casey Taylor. I use they, them pronouns. Welcome to Spiritually Uncuffed. And what Uncuffed looks like today is really recognizing where we come from, recognizing our tradition and our foundation. That the experience of being uncuffed doesn't mean that we're throwing the way that we used to do things out the window. It means that we are inviting an opportunity to do things differently while honoring the ways that we did things before. And I am so grateful that Reverend SuZ Ogden said yes to performing for us today. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And just thank you so much for being here. So we are going to speak our vision and mission statement together. I invite you to read this affirmation along with me if it resonates with you. We are a loving, inclusive community, joyfully expressing spirit. We honor, celebrate, and support each individual's awakening to their spiritual magnificence. We empower each other to create happy, healthy, abundant lives. We do a good job at that. I'm grateful. And I don't just mean speaking the affirmation, I mean literally living it as a community. So I'm incredibly grateful to be a part of this community, and grateful that Mary Lee Jones has served as our practitioner of the day on the first Sunday of every month and is keeping that tradition going. So I'd like to invite Mary Lee to come on up and lead us in the meditation and prayer portion of our service.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And welcome, both the lovely people in the room with us and all of you who are joining us out there. The CSL's theme for this month is the flow of coming and going. Specifically today, March 2nd, the topic is navigating the tides of life. Change is constant. The world can feel like a sea of constantly changing ideas and tides. How can we navigate these tides and stay true to our divinity? We live in a world of constant movement where life, with a small L, may feel like it is moving from left to right and up and down. In science of mind, we know that which is apparently real to our senses is part of the world of effects, and that there is a one divine cause which is indivisible, already complete and whole within itself, which creates all out of itself. This is the principle of oneness, unity. Based on this principle of oneness, we can navigate the back and forth, ups and downs and tides of life by centering ourselves and pausing, such as when we perform an invocation or blessing, and then are able to observe our thoughts free of criticism or judgment, allowing for a flow into unity consciousness with and as the whole. Navigating the back and forth of life from the unity perspective, we can flow and move from left to right, from down to up, always aware that we are part of the whole, which is what we truly are. When we observe what comes to our minds without judgment and or criticism, but rather in a state of stillness and silence, it is easier to get out of the bubble box we have created in our minds during our lives. And we can disidentify with whatever false categories we have put ourselves in. And to amplify and augment what I'm sharing, I would like to give you a few quotes from Eckhart Tolle's Stillness Speaks, reflecting on the importance of maintaining a state of stillness and silence to navigate life's tides, stay in the flow of coming and going, and keep us reminded of our state of oneness. Stillness is your essential nature. What is stillness? The inner space or awareness in which the words on this page are perceived and become thoughts. Without that awareness, there would be no perception, no thoughts, no world. Whenever there is silence around you, listen to it. This means that you simply have to be aware of it. Pay attention to it. Listening to silence awakens the dimension of stillness within you, because only stillness allows you to be aware of silence. Wisdom comes when one is able to be still. Just look, just listen. Nothing else is needed. Stillness, looking and listening activates the non-conceptual intelligence that nestles within you. Let stillness direct your words and your actions. And one more that spoke to me particularly. When you look at a tree and perceive its stillness, you become still yourself. You connect with it at a very deep level. You feel a oneness with whatever you perceive in and through stillness. Feeling the oneness of yourself with all things is true love. When we pause, observe our thoughts, step out of our ego, and disidentify with what we have categorized ourselves to be, a shift occurs. Our energy flows and empties out from our emotions and thoughts, which creates an opening for the divine wisdom to live and express its state of oneness in our bodies. Intuition always speaks to us. It speaks to us in the stillness of silence. Attunement helps us to develop it. Listen to our heart, feel and allow ourselves to flow without the need to control situations and without wanting to change the actions or thoughts of other people. In this way, we naturally flow with life's changes, living from our unity consciousness. This week, we have the opportunity to remember to live from our unity consciousness, knowing that within the hectic and ever-changing back and forth of life, we are always in the divine womb. There is nothing outside of us. We are not separate from life. We are life itself. remember when needed to simply take a moment to pause your doing, observe your thoughts in the stillness, and remember who you are, the flow of God as oneness. And in that knowingness that we are in the flow of oneness, I would like to take us into prayer now. God is the absolute reality and only intelligence. The one infinite reality. God is wholeness, peace, joy, love, perfection, and flow. As my mind is an individualization of God mind, I accept the idea that I am now thinking with the mind of God. The Spirit of God moves through me as my spirit of awareness, and also moves through everyone here and online as the perfect, beautiful God essences that they are. With the knowledge that everyone present here and online are one with God, surrounded by acceptance of the existence of all the gifts, joys, blessings of the universe, I now speak my word for everyone here and online. I realize and completely accept that the creative law of Spirit is acting through everyone here and online to bring awareness that they are the flow of God as oneness, and thus able to navigate the tides of life with ease and grace. This is their spiritual nature and truth. And I see awareness that they are the flow of God as oneness, and thus able to navigate the tides of life with ease and grace as being theirs right now without having any need to know how that will manifest. I feel and express my overflowing gratitude for knowing this truth about everyone here and online, and release this treatment, this energy, this power into the law, which always says yes, in the beautiful flow of activity that the law is. It is now done as I have declared and I have deeply felt, and so it is.
And so it is.
This song was actually written during the pandemic. And I want to thank Derek Ackley because I thought it was a pretty good song when I brought it in. He said, keep working at it, it'll be better. So I did. And it became a good song. It's time to love one another. It's time to love one another. We're being shown how to just slow down and take time and love one another. We're learning a great lesson that has come to set us free. Love's the most precious gift between you and me. We are surrendering our judgment and our greed, coming together in ways seen and unseen. Oh, yeah. 'Cause it's time to love one another. It's time to love one another. We're being shown how to just slow down and take time and love one another. I am grateful for this heart-opening, mind-expanding jolt of reality as I reach out to you and you reach out to me. We create space for love to breathe. It's time to love one another. It's time to love one another. We're being shown how to just slow down and take time and love one another. We're being shown how to just slow down, 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 and take time and just love one another.
Yeah.
Reputation.
Thank you so much, SuZ. I love how the divine timing of all of this is coming into play. Like, first of all, the fact that our theme today is navigating the tides of life, and where we are in life, specifically in this country, is in a tide change. And the fact that Rev SuZ wrote this song during the pandemic, that was also a really significant tide change. And in this moment of this new shift, what's happening? You want to do my slides for me? All right, I'll take it. I appreciate you, Mary Lee. I will keep talking. In this shift of where we were in 2020 and where we are in 2025, we talked last week about how if you didn't slow down and take time to love one another in 2020, we got another opportunity to do it right now. And for me, in 2020, I did take that time. Living in Los Angeles, I noticed for me, there was such a big shift in having the time and the space to just be, to not have to, my commute to work before the pandemic was pretty extensive, and just getting to and fro, doing the things in life required, I was constantly doing something. And the pandemic created this opportunity. I just bought this great house, and I got to just kick it literally in a red lounge chair by the pool. I took all of my Zoom meetings in this red lounge chair by the pool and really slowed down. And in that experience of slowing down, I recognized how much internalized biases I was carrying. The shift that was happening in our country, it was that we were having a conversation about race that hadn't ever happened in my lifetime. And that experience of being in my home, in my backyard, by the pool, with the palm trees, feeling like every day was vacation, it was a really comfortable place to slow down and learn how to love others by recognizing those biases that I was carrying and recognizing how much those biases were holding me back. What does my next slide say, Mary Lee?
Trisha Hersey's when we
Yeah, that's what I thought. So in this experience of navigating the tides of life, the book that came to me, and I quote this book all the time, is Trisha Hersey's Rest is Resistance, a Manifesto. And she said, when we function thinking only of ourselves and believing we can do it alone, we create harm and create a container for more exhaustion. So at that time in Los Angeles, I was exhausted, but I didn't know it. Because I had to survive. That was what survival consisted of. And as an executive, as a television executive, there was this I wouldn't say a kind of expectation, the idea of finding success in the television industry made it essentially a 24/7 job. There were breakfast meetings, lunch meetings, drinks after work, weekend networking events. It was a kind of around-the-clock situation. While at the same time, I had started a spiritual organization, Spirit Uncensored, completely accidentally. I had no intention of being both an executive and a part-time minister at the same time. when I went to ministerial school, my intention was to do what Mary Lee did this morning of, you know, I've got the reading, I do prayer, come in once a month. Like, that was what my vision of ministry was. So to be balancing being an executive and also managing Spirit Uncensored, having started a nonprofit, caring for a spiritual community that I had accidentally created, and also working as an executive, I was really feeling exhausted. And I was introduced to the NAP ministry in 2020. So that was a moment where I got to really recognize the biggest thing for me was to know that my industry, the expectations of my industry and the expectations of my family were to operate from a level of success that was bringing me to a level of exhaustion. And so many people in my life said, you're gonna have to slow down. This is gonna catch up to you eventually. You're gonna have to slow down. And I didn't know how or what I needed to do and what to shift. But the pandemic created an opportunity for me to slow down, to get quiet, and to do that work. And recognize that I was harming myself and living from a place of exhaustion by choosing to burn the candle at both ends. What we got next?
Okay, our next one starts, it is our work to reimagine.
Let's go ahead and hit it. This is also Trisha Hersey. She said, it is our work to reimagine rest for ourselves. We do this by tapping into the infinite imagination we have as divine beings. We slowly take our time to go underneath so many layers of trauma we've experienced individually and collectively in this violent system. I want to stop here for a second because it's a mouthful. And I don't usually like to use really long quotes, but I felt like there was so much being said in here that I really wanted to focus on this for a minute. This concept of tapping in to the infinite imagination for me was everything. That, as I said, working in television at the time, I couldn't imagine what a life of rest and restoration would really look like for me. And I feel like the life that I'm living now is absolutely that. I didn't have to imagine it. Oklahoma created the opportunity for me to just have it. This morning, I mentioned that I flew in last night. I got in late last night, and my luggage did not arrive last night, so I have no jeans. And as I put sweatpants on, I recognized how incredible it was that I serve and support a spiritual community where nobody has ever made any comments about the amount of times that I wear sweatpants on a Sunday morning. And there was this whole idea, like, y'all are making faces, like, who cares? California, the Centers for Spiritual Living as an organization, I've had challenges with the fact that I wear t-shirts or sweatshirts and sweatpants. That's way too far. I've had lots of comments about jeans. And I'll wear like nice jeans at a place and they're like, don't do that here again. You gotta do something else. And California, I didn't see that coming. So I didn't expect that Oklahoma would be a place where I got to be really comfortable and be a part of a spiritual community where I get to take off and go to Key West in the middle of the week and come back and show up sweatpants on Sunday morning, ready to roll. So this experience of the infinite, tapping into the infinite imagination, I didn't have to consciously do that, but I did have to know that the terms of requesting unlimited vacation, of not having these designated office hours, that was something that this book, Rest is Resistance, gave me the opportunity to recognize that this was a possibility for me. So taking our time to go underneath so many layers of trauma, I mentioned that I recognized how much internal bias I was carrying, and taking that time to identify those layers of trauma that we've experienced individually and collectively in the system.
This was the last one.
Yes, we lay down literally and figuratively. I love that idea, that that's what's happening, that we're not just we're physically laying down for rest. I went on vacation and had a very lovely vacation. The amount of like activities that we did were very low key. I went to a yoga class, because you know how I roll, in a garden that was gorgeous. I went to a butterfly conservatory, just very chill kinds of things. Hung out with my cousins, we did a whole lot of walking, and just really enjoyed myself. And laid down. I got an opportunity to rest so that I have the energy to do the kinds of things that I want to do. Can we go to our next slide? All right, so Tricia Hersey also says, the rigid idea that justice work centering Blackness, born from a lens of Black liberation, is only for Black people is limiting and false. So, this concept is something that was a big part of my own healing journey, was this recognition that so many of the stories and the content that I've engaged in come specifically from a white lens. And things that come from a Black lens are generally thought as being for Black people. For instance, there is a New Thought conference. It's put together by the People of African Descendants New Thought Group. That's what it's called. And this conference happens every other year at Unity Village. And there are Black speakers from all of the New Thought organizations, from the Centers for Spiritual Living, from Unity, from Universal Foundation for Better Living, and some New Thought organizations that I had never heard of. They do the best they can to line it up so that all of the organizations are represented in the lineup. And the intention for this conference is not for it to be only for Black people. The intention of the conference is to recognize that the Black voices in the New Thought movement are present, have always been present. And the education that I received from attending this conference is unlike any kind of education that I've ever gotten, because it's all of the New Thought organizations coming together at once, speaking from a place, speaking from that lens that I don't ever get to see. And this event happens every other year. So I make a point to go every other year, because the level of inspiration, education that I receive from that one event really shapes the 2 years that I have in between each conference. And one of the things that the organization, People of Descendants of New Thought Group, really want to make clear is that the conference is not for Black people. It's this recognition that when we receive so much of our content from one specific lens, that we need to diversify that. And as we are in this navigating the tides of life, one of the things that has become a issue in the forefront is this concept of diversity, equity, and inclusion that has become a bad word, that companies are moving backwards. People who do this work professionally are shifting their messaging so that they can continue to pay their rent. And I'm grateful that in this community, somebody posted that on Facebook, they asked this question of what are you doing now that diversity, equity, inclusion has become such a negative concept? And so many people who work in these industries said, I'm shifting my messaging. Lots of people replied, I'm shifting the messaging. And I said, I'm tripling down on the message. And the person who posted it said, what does that mean for you? And I said, well, what that has meant so far is giving money to trans people directly. When a trans person's like, it's my birthday, and they're not working, and I know what they have gone through and the challenges that they've had to find work, I'm sending them birthday money. Somebody else just kind of posted like, I really want pizza. I'm struggling as a trans person, so I'm just gonna say it. Anybody wants to send me pizza and wing money, you let me know. Here's my Cash App. And I went and sent that person some money. So it's that kind of thing of I'm literally putting my money where my mouth is. This week, there's a diversity class that I took through the Centers for Spiritual Living. Tracy Brown, a practitioner in Dallas, Texas, teaches this class for the ministers. And she has a list of ministers that she provides to her students, because there's an assignment where they have to ask a minister or spiritual leader some questions around their perceptions or their ways of leadership, spiritual leadership around diversity. And I'm on her list. So the people in the class, people would just reach out to me and say, hey, can I ask you some questions for this class? And so I did 2 of those interviews right before I went to Key West last week. And having that opportunity to think about the ways that we triple down on inclusivity in this community. It is in our vision and mission statement, and we absolutely live it. having an opportunity to communicate that to minister students and for them to have been wowed about the kinds of things that we're doing here, it's so beautiful to me that this community stands as a representation of diversity, equity, and inclusion despite what is happening in the world. I am absolutely here for it. All right, what we got next, Mary Lee?
We have Blanca Mejia.
Blanca Mejia, she is, this, I made sure, because she had her title in her bio and everything. Director Espiritual is what that stands for. She's a spiritual director Espiritual in Mexico, and she's the person who put together this content for navigating the tides of life. And she said in this content, remember to take a pause and breathe when you let your nationality, language, color, or anything physical define you. And I really sat with this for a minute because I thought it was important to both express this concept of, and you know what I just said about the black lens, it isn't just the black lens. What diversity and inclusion is about is a diversity of lenses. And I pulled that quote from Tricia Hersey's book because her whole concept, as a black woman, she really leads with this concept of blackness. And as a black person assigned female at birth, it's been really valuable for me to have that book. But I also recognize that the diversity of lenses is very important. That one conference that I go to, if there was a Native conference or an Asian conference around New Thought, trust me, I would be there. And hopefully the Celebrating Our Souls conference helps create the opportunity for something like that to exist across the New Thought movement. But when she included this in the material, I love that the concept isn't forget your color, forget your nationality, forget your language. She didn't say don't let these things define you. She said remember to take a pause and breathe whenever you notice that. And this whole concept of navigating the tides of life today is simply an invitation to pause and breathe, to notice. As I was talking about this concept of lenses, yesterday on the plane, I watched this movie called Here. Have any of you seen this movie? It's got Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, and I chose to watch it because they were both in Forrest Gump together. And I was like, I want to see them again doing their thing. And it's a Robert Zemeckis film. It takes place in a house. And what makes this movie stand out, what made people talk about it, is all of it takes place in this one house. And it shows how the house was built and where it goes. So it starts from, I want to say 1800s or something like that. And you see black and white people, mostly black laborers, building the house. And they move back and forth in timeline between the different people who live there. And Tom Hanks and Robert Wright are like the core family of this movie. And I noticed that the black and native characters were really erased over. I've been reading this book, it's called Original Sins by Eve, what is Eve's last name? I don't know, it's called Eve Ewing is her last name. And it's really helped me recognize how our education system was designed to silence Native voices. And so having read that book last month and then watched this movie, I noticed how they included the Native characters that were on the land before the house was built on it, and showed, and what happened, the Native characters were all silent in this movie. Not a single one of them said a word. And if they did, I think there was some words that were spoken in a Native language, but there was no caption of any kind to know anything about what these characters said in the movie. And there was a scene where the native community was burying a beloved elder woman in their tribe, and she was being buried with this ornate necklace. And these men came in at some point later in the timeline. These men came in and said, "Hey, heard there's some natives on this land. We want to go digging in the backyard and find some things." And I noticed white men who showed up in the house, did the digging, found the sacred object and identified it for it being sacred. And one of the things that struck me was the book that I read talked about how there's this culture of mainstream culture, museum culture, of finding these native items and putting them in museums instead of giving them to the tribe. That the tribes themselves weren't involved in the excavation of any kind. So I noticed the fact that these characters were silent. I noticed the fact that white people, the ones who dug up the sacred objects, and they never talked about what happened with them after that in this movie. And so what that book did is it just changed my lens. I watched that movie differently. I took a pause and breathed and noticed how I let my own nationality, language, color define me, and just recognize that I get to look at the world that I live in from a place of observation. As Rev SuZ's song said, it's not from greed, it's not from judgment, it's take time to love one another. And that's what we're doing here, and I'm, like I said, absolutely here for it. So this is our last slide, Mary Lee.
Yeah, the keep knock on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So this is just a book I got that I felt like really, to me, demonstrated what navigating the tides of life is that we have an opportunity each morning to wake up and enjoy this life. I always talk to y'all about living each day as the best day ever, no matter what. We can come together and have a conversation about looking through a lens of inclusivity, of educating ourselves, of taking time to rest and love one another. And this affirmation, the book, Present Moment, Wonderful Moment, Mindfulness Verses of Daily Living, this is the first verse for daily living provided in the book. Thich Nhat Hanh says, waking up this morning, I smile. 24 brand new hours are before me. I vow to live fully in each moment and to look at all beings with the eyes of compassion. All beings with the eyes of compassion. And that's what we get to do here today. So Rev SuZ, I'd love to invite you back up and play a little guitar for me behind our closing prayer, or our prayer for this portion of our service. And
Can I sing a little song before you pray?
Yes, absolutely. I'm never gonna get in your way. You say sing a song, I say yes, and get out the way.
Actually, I didn't write the song, Reverend Sandy Scott did. But it's about everything y'all talked about today. And just come on up and pray with us all, and we'll walk right into that. God is the ocean, we are the wave. Rest in the rhythm of love. God is the ocean, we are the wave. Rest in the rhythm of love. God is the ocean, we are the waves. Rest in the rhythm of love. God is the ocean, we are the waves. Rest in the rhythm of love. Rest in the rhythm of love.
In this moment of resting in the rhythm of love, I am grateful that we have been reminded that God is the ocean, spirit, source, and we are the wave. We are the drops. We are individual manifestations of the divine itself. And I am grateful that each one of us chooses to live our lives consciously of this understanding to the best of our ability. That we show up and participate in spiritual community, that we empower each other to create happy, healthy, abundant lives, that we live our lives by example, inspiring others to do the same. I am grateful for the ways that we are navigating the tides of life. To trust and know that everything that needed to be said has been said, everything that needs to be manifested is being manifested, and life itself is beautiful and divine. I am grateful that we are waking up to these 24 brand new hours before us, vowing to live fully in each moment and look at all beings through the eyes of compassion. And I am grateful for the shift that takes place across the planet because we have chosen to do so, and Spirit supports us in this divine yes. And in gratitude, I invite us all to affirm this truth together by saying, and so it is. All right. Rev SuZ is going to sing us another song, but before that, we're going to speak our giving affirmation. Mary Lee's got her little bowl ready to go, and Rev SuZ will roll right into the song. So let's speak this together. I live in abundance. I am filled with abundance. I joyfully give from that abundance, and it transforms my life.
And so it is.
I like it how you said that about we manifest exactly what we did. Well, for me to get here, it was just north of Texas lies a prairie, oh so sweet. In the heart of the country, where the four winds meet, a place so filled with sunshine, it beckoned my soul to be. I blew in on a prairie wind, now it feels like heaven to me. 'Cause the gates have been swung wide open, it's angels' faces I can see, and a sweet, sweet smile says welcome home, you're okay in OKC. What need to get here? 'Cause I've been afraid of slowing down. I'd have to look inside myself, things I had to yield again, my winter house unkept. There's a kind of sweetness here, it feels safe and it feels free to just let my old hair hang down and finally just be me. 'Cause the gates have been swung wide open, it's angels' faces I can see, and a sweet, sweet smile says welcome home, you're okay in OKC. Oh, I've traveled east coast to west more than, well, it's been more than years than that. But something right here in Oklahoma made my old heart sing along. Dun, 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 dun. You see, the gates have been swung wide open, it's angels' faces I can see, a sweet yeah, you are. It's a nice place to be. If you ever stop by in Oklahoma, you make sure you come and see Reverend KC. Right here in OKC. Because I'll tell you what, they got some of the best chicken fried steak here you'll ever eat in your life in Oklahoma. Just come on in and we'll make you feel at home, yeah. Yeah, you're okay in OKC.
Thank you so much, SuZ. I love that we
Nice to
got
be
the,
with you today.
I'm so glad that you have, and we got the Two Nice Girls trio here singing backup for you from the seats. Hopefully we can get y'all all up here. Hint, hint, in April. Would love to have y'all, just so you know. So speaking of April, I got announcements. I got all kinds of announcements. I'm gonna start with March. We're just gonna do March and April, but I love that we got a lot coming up. And all things are on the United Life website. Today, we have our potluck coming up right after this. I saw people brought in some nummies, and we've got an intimate group today, so I know we've got more than enough. Feel free to stick around if you haven't brought anything. And if you're watching this online and you're like, what, potluck? Feel free to come on over and enjoy that with us. On Wednesday, Jessie Powers is performing for us right in this space. Jessie Powers is on tour around the country. She's been in Denver, I don't know, she's going all kinds of places, Reno and all kinds of places. She's going to Reno right after this, San Jose. So we are a stop on Jessie Powers' tour. She'll be here for this free concert on Wednesday. And if you'd like to bring refreshments to share with the community, we would love to help feed the community with spiritual food and actual food. So feel free, you're welcome. Thank you. Doors open at 7 p.m. The concert begins at 7:30 on this Wednesday, March 5th. Next Sunday, March 9th, so after Jessie's concert, daylight savings time kicks in, and the time is changing to, we are springing ahead. And we as a community are springing all the way ahead by shifting our time to 1 p.m. And as sleepy as I was this morning, I was so grateful that this is the last time I'm gonna be here setting up this space in the morning, that I got time to like do yoga or go to other people's spiritual services and get to meet some more musicians. So I'm personally super excited that the community decided we're moving to 1 p.m. We are also offering a sound bath at 12:30. So just like we used to have meditation before Sunday services, now we've got meditation at 12:30 to 12:45. We're gonna do a sound bath in this dark part of the room, and then we'll come here and get live for Spiritually Uncuffed. That's the plan. Also, March 15th, the following Saturday, the Radiant Living Fun Fair is happening at Will Rogers. I would love to have some people help be at the tables and talk to people about our community there. So please feel free to show up. You can text me if you want to. You can tell me you're coming, but feel free to just show up, see what's going on, bring your energy, and let people know who we are and what we're about. And so Key West, I mentioned, I was in Key West this week. I was in Key West with a cousin who is hosting a New Thought Media Network web series with me that begins on March 20th. On Thursdays at noon, we are streaming on all platforms. What's up and why? Would love for you to follow us on socials. I'm gonna talk to Nina about getting those socials to you so that you can learn about the info and follow us when we launch on March 20th. And after that, like I said, we got a ton of stuff going on in March. Our leadership retreat is happening the week of March 21st. We're doing a leadership retreat Friday evening where we're doing our potluck, and then a full day of retreats and planning for our community. So if you consider yourself to be a leader, if you're interested in getting back into leadership in the community, I would love to have you. It's going to be at Reverend Dr. Sue Ellen's house. So talk to me or her to get details about that if you would like to join. And lastly, I've been going back and forth about, and I've told y'all I'm going back and forth about it, and it got me to this place of clarity, of the Making Peace with Your Inner Shit Talker program that I've created. I am going to offer a accountability support space for that starting on April 6th. So if you would like to join this 90-day program, there's a space on Sunday evenings where we can come here and talk about how you're moving through the program. We're gonna do that from April 6th through July 6th. What I decided was that it would be live only. We're not doing any kind of hybrid Zoom situation. I am gonna do that for the fall, but right now, I feel like what would make me most comfortable if it was live only and I don't gotta mess with the technology during all that. Time to get ready for that hybrid situation. So we will be offering that starting April 6th. All right, so that's all I got for you. Announcements, music, spiritual food, that's all I got for you. Have the best week ever.
I wanted to jump and say, don't forget to remind them Leadership Council.
Leadership Council, next Sunday at 3 p.m.